not getting to the country. So that very close relationship.
And Secretary, did you know that I was the one who successfully nominated Kim Dae-jung for this time? Because you were nominated many times, or few times. But I was in Seoul with Han Jung Kim in my hotel room. I didn't stay in a suite at the time, so in my room. He gave me all the papers, and I nominated Kim Dae-jung for the Nobel. I wrote it there in a hotel.
You were already a Nobel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You received in 1996.
96.
Kim Dae-jung received in
Yeah.
2001.
No,
2001. Thank you very much for that.
And usually the Nobel Committee doesn't invite previous laureates to the ceremony for one laureate. They don't. That year, they made a special exception to invite me as well. Because Kim Dae-jung also wanted me to attend.
Yeah, yeah.
So I traveled Kim Dae-jung to Oslo. Yes. And
I also appreciated your speech. You covered the whole.
yeah, that's correct. Yes.
I'd like to congratulate your country being a new member of ASEAN. You are now 11th members.
Will be. And Secretary, when you were Secretary General in 2011, you gave a speech at the ASEAN Summit
Yes.
in Bali.
Yeah.
You strongly argue for Timor-Leste to be.
Yeah.
I never
I
forget.
know you must have been admitted much earlier, but anyway.
Yeah, but it, actually, if we had been admitted in 2011, probably it would be a disaster. We don't have it. And Singapore was always skeptical about Timor joining, not because they didn't agree. It's that they didn't believe that we had enough human resources. I remember Prime Minister Lee once said, focus on human resources first. ASEAN will be always there. Don't be in a hurry. And he was so right. Singaporeans always, they don't think only with their heart, they think with their brains and their heart. We sometimes, we think more with the heart than with the brain.
ASEAN is well respected and known for your integrity and common positions on all the matters of regional and global issues. But there is only one regret which I'm raising is that the one member states among ASEAN, I think they are making progress now. I think this will not only not only some shame on the integrity of ASEAN when you just let Myanmar like this way. So all ASEAN countries are peace-loving countries, all democratic countries. Only one exception now, and Myanmar.
Yeah.
They were under military dictatorship. Then later they changed, and Aung San Suu Kyi was elected as a civilian leader. Then just a few years later, they returned again back to even worse way.
Worse than before.
They are completely isolated.
Yeah.
That's why I felt very sorry as a former Secretary General and also as a member of the elders. I think when you retire after this presidency, I think you should join the elders group. It was founded by Nelson Mandela, and I'm now working as a vice chairman.
You are
vice chairman. Then I volunteered to visit Myanmar 2 years ago. when they took over, military took
Yeah.
over, and there was a huge, big changes. And at that time, they rejected my offer. After 2 years, I was invited by military authorities. And so I went there, not as Secretary General of the United Nations, not as a former Secretary General, but as a member of the elders, as a vice chairman of the elders. They invited me in that capacity. I had very serious talk with the senior general Huang, and also Deputy Prime Minister Myat Tun U, and Foreign Minister Tan Sue. Those are three people whom I met. I met separately. Then I conveyed the message not only as Vice Chair of the Elders, but as a former Secretary General. And before going, I consulted with the ASEAN, Indonesia Foreign Minister, because Indonesia is a chair country now.
Yeah.
And I also consulted with the UN Special Representative, Nolin Hazer, whom you know very well.
Yes.
So she gave me all good advices, and I also received strong support from ASEAN chair. I strongly urge them to accept the ASEAN consensus, 5 points of consensus. That's the only way for them to solve this problem. But they were, I don't know, he said they had not been consulted this on ASEAN consensus 5 point. But I was told Senior General Huang was present.
Yes, he was present.
He was present.
Yes.
And in that occasion, this ASEAN consensus was adopted. But now they say, no, I have never been consulted.
He was
That's, I think,
present.
a lie. That's a lie.
He
But
was-
anyway, I hope ASEAN will really give much stronger pressure. Otherwise, they will not move. They will not move. They will not listen to other countries' voices. So I think I'm the only one who had been invited during the last 2 years now,
Yes.
except ASEAN.
Yes,
ASEAN. So I hope we have been, before you were elected president, we were having all these virtual meetings, conferences with Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, yourself, and also Nolin Hazer. So I really appreciated your advices at the time, before you became president. Now you are the president of Timor-Leste, a member state of ASEAN. I think you can also engage yourself and advise them as a Nobel Peace Laureate. Otherwise, it will only be the people of Myanmar,
Yeah.
just the poor people who will suffer from this one. And I know that this NUG people, they are very well solidly united, and they will try to do whatever I think this, after all, their own country. But if they really attack their own country, then a good way. And therefore, I hope ASEAN will exert more pressure, political pressure. That's my
Yes.
honest wish and request to you, Mr. President.
And Secretary General, I follow very closely, and what I know is that for the first time, the military are facing a lot of military pressure. The NUG, because in the past, the resistance to the military was always just the ethnic armies. now the whole country. And they increase the number of people fighting in the ranks of the insurgency. The military taking much more casualties now, and defections. Many defections, military, police people. And they control only about 30% of the territory, the military. The NUG led, were they able to strike many in the cities themselves with ambushes. So the military pressure against the military is increasing. And the problem, is the risk of fragmentation of Myanmar. And if the democracy movement will not be able to secure the country and win over the loyalty of the armed forces, then the country can fall apart in total chaos. That's one risk. But the NUG, they're very confident. I met with them, they've been to Timor several times. I have had many meetings with them. And I can see the first time that the military being weakened. And I followed it for many, many years, long even when Suu Kyi was in prison. I was following this. And so
I talked to, very frankly, to senior general. Aung San Suu Kyi is, I think, 77 years old.
yeah,
You have sentenced 33 years of prison. That means she'll be, if she finishes all terms, she'll be over 110 years old now. So it's inhuman, and she's an old lady. So why don't you release her?
yeah.
Then senior general told me privately, she was the mastermind. She masterminded all this election fabricating all this one. I don't believe she did it. But this is his argument that she was the mastermind in fabricating all election results. So I could not argue with him again. So I just urged him to release her, if not completely free, and at least she could be detained house arrest, as she used to be there. Then even then that will help your image. I don't know, but while releasing 2,100 prisoners, so there are still more than 2,000 people who are arrested in detention now. Maybe I hope ASEAN as a whole, in the name of ASEAN, just to press them. And since you are the only leader with Nobel Peace as a Nobel Peace laureate, I think you can also engage with the Myanmar military authorities. My observation was that I think that he was with me. The country is totally isolated. I could not see the people there. And in the airport, there was not a single airplane, no airplane, except my airplane. Because there was no way for us to go there. And so we chartered an airplane. And there was only one airplane which I flew together. Then I counted the number of cars while driving to downtown, from Naypyidaw to downtown. It took about 35 minutes. I just saw 22 cars in 35 minutes. 22 cars.
In the 4 lane or 8 lane.
Five lanes.
5 lane.
10 lane now. It's a 10
10
lane.
lane, yeah.
10 lane. So my lanes come just my car, no car at all. Not a single car. Then the opposite way, 22 cars. It was pretty. This is bizarre.
It's,
Very bizarre. So
Your
nothing. No.
Excellency will continue the dialogue with the military. You will continue the dialogue with them, or
But
will you continue the dialogue with the military? If necessary.
I want to continue.
Yeah.
And I wrote a letter to senior general. Whenever I'm ready anytime, whenever you really want to engage, I'll be ready to go. This is what I answer. And as you must have received, I sent a copy of my letter to President Joko Widodo.
Good.
So you must have received a copy of my letter to President Joko Widodo.
Yeah, at least there is someone, you, that maintain the dialogue with the military.
And that's what
I think it's important.
now, I think that they seem to have less trust on Norlin Hazer.
Yeah.
So Norlin Hazer has not been able to return to Nepido. So she's doing just from outside. And
She's terminated the mission.
yeah. Maybe you can also engage with the Northern Haze. I think that if, of course, ASEAN works in solidarity in a collective way, but I think that you, on your own, you can also meet with senior general. I think you are most, proper positioned person, and also chairman of Indonesia, but President Joko Widodo, normally I have known him, but he's not actively engaging.
Yeah, very.
I'm sorry to say so,
Yeah.
but I have known him, but he's not actively engaging.
It's more the foreign minister, right? Not the-
Yeah, foreign minister.
She's like that.
I'm in close contact with foreign minister Marusudi.
Yeah. It's a very, very difficult mission for ASEAN, and obviously there is a lot, I know there's a lot of frustration in ASEAN countries, Indonesia very frustrated. Even Cambodia very upset because Cambodia, Indonesia made appeals to Kathmandu not to execute the 4 democracy activists. And the Cambodia has had a very, active approach with Naypyidaw, with the Kathmandu, but yet they didn't listen to even Cambodia, who sent appeal not to execute the 4 activists. They didn't listen to President Widodo, didn't listen to Hun Sen, and went ahead and executed 4 young activists. That is unheard of in the recent decades of ASEAN history.
Cambodia did not also play much role
Japan.
when he was chairman. And I know him very well.
So it's very, very conundrum for ASEAN. And China has been, so I don't want to take more of your time.
Yeah, I have to take airplane.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, so great seeing you.
I'm going back to Seoul.
Yeah, when you can, please come and visit us.
Oh, yes, yes, I'll try.
And if you remember, I invited you to come in May.
Yes, yes.
You couldn't because you had to speak in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Your own foundation activity the same time.
Okay,
We
Mr.
say
President,
thank
very
you.
honored to meet you.
Thank you. Oh, yes, so I have a small souvenir.
Oh. Thank you. No, no, no.
And silver.
I see. Thank you. I'll try to one day visit
I will write to you and then you tell us when you can.
Okay.
Thank you. That's Timor coffee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Better than ginseng.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. Thank you.
Não, então o meeting, Jason meeting. Ah, você está no meeting,
Vai perguntar aos colheres algumas coisas que